Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Nintendo Wiretap for the evening of May 1st, 2017. Every evening, we take a look at the biggest stories in the world of Nintendo and wrap it up into a nice, neat little package so you don't have to. This evening, we're going to be focusing most of our attention on one story rather than a few, and that is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 1. Now, there's a lot of information to decode in this one, so bear with me, I'm going to get you through all of it. First and foremost, Nintendo of America has just unveiled the first of the two DLC packs coming to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild later this year. The DLC is entitled The Master Trials, and it contains several pretty amazing additions. The first one being the Trial of the Sword. The Trial of the Sword includes a gauntlet of enemies that appear one after another. Link initially starts without armor or weapons, but he can pick them up as he progresses. The trial is going to contain roughly 45 different rooms, which should be pretty challenging even for veteran Zelda fans, and if you're familiar with Twilight Princess HD, this sounds a lot like the Cave of Shadows. So, if you like that sort of thing, if you like the challenge, I think this one is going to be just for you. The coolest part about all of this is if you make it through all 45 rooms, the Master Sword will be unlocked into pretty much this amazing overpowered weapon. If you've played Breath of the Wild, you know the Master Sword can go between two states, the standard state, which is about 30 damage, and then the lit up, the glowing power state, which is 60 damage. If you make it through this whole thing, it remains at 60 the entire time and remains glowing. One of the coolest things, in my opinion, out of this entire DLC pack. The next thing included is Hard Mode, and people have been wanting this for some time. Hard Mode does a few things. The first thing this does is it increases the rank of all of the enemies in the game. So imagine you're in an area that you would normally see a red bokoblin. That bokoblin now becomes blue. No word yet if this mode is going to include a new color of enemy. We know at the moment that white is the most powerful enemy that we can see in the game, so hopefully we'll see something a bit stronger. In the official press release, it does say that players may even encounter more powerful enemies that they've ever seen before in standard play, so I think that's a pretty good indication we're going to see either A, a new color, or B, some pretty intense boss fights. The other thing this hard mode does is it allows enemies to regain health. So slowly over time, enemies will recover their health. So when you're taking on bigger enemies in the game, you have to do it quick or else they're just going to bounce right back at you. And again, if you are a glutton for punishment, which I know a lot of you are, this is going to be something that's really, really cool to mess around with. Next up, we have Hero's Path Mode. Now, this one's a bit different. It's one of the more interesting things in this one, too, but the main gist behind this one is it tracks Link's progression through Hyrule for almost 200 hours of gameplay. So you can see the path that Link has taken. You can see where he's walking. You can backtrack pretty much wherever you've gone throughout the game in those 200 hours. It's a really cool addition, especially for those who like to look at the data of their playthrough. This also comes in handy if you are looking for a shrine, maybe something that you just can't find. You can take a look and see where your footprints are on the map, and you can say, you know what, I've never been to this area. There's a good chance I might find something there. So again, this is something I think a lot of players are going to get some kind of use out of, even though I know a lot of you have already found all the shrines in the game, but still, it's still a really neat data point. Next up, we have the Travel Medallion, and this one I think I'm probably the most excited about. The Travel Medallion gives the player the option to create essentially a fast travel point anywhere in Hyrule. Yes, I know that the shrines do that too, but I know there are some locations you would love to just be able to warp to. No word yet how you obtain this, but the only information we have on this one is that there is a chest hidden somewhere in Hyrule that will have this. Hopefully it's going to be guarded by a pretty big boss. Next up, we have the KOROK mask, and this one is going to be good for completionists who just don't want to look up the locations of where these KOROKs are. There are 900 KOROKs hidden somewhere in Hyrule, and finding them, honestly, is probably one of the most frustrating things you can do in this game. The KOROK mask, by wearing this, will essentially give the player a notification when a KOROK is nearby. So, if you're just completely lost on where are these little guys, this is going to be a good way for you to find those without resorting to a strategy guide or an online website for you to more or less find them that way. Not to mention this thing is pretty darn cute too, so I could see people wearing this even after they find all 900. And finally, a bit of fan service. There are other costumes that are going to be scattered throughout the world with this update. My favorite of those being Majora's Mask. I have no idea if this mask does anything other than just look menacing and amazing, but hopefully it has something to do with the moon. I would love to see Link have the ability to maybe summon a blood moon or harness the power of the moon in some way. Honestly, I hope that happens. So we have Majora's Mask. We also have Midna's helmet. So if you're a fan of Twilight Princess, we have a shout out to Midna from that game. And overall, it honestly just looks really cool. And finally, we have the Phantom armor. And this is a 3-piece set that includes a helmet, the overall armor, and boots. It is a really menacing looking outfit. If you're a fan of Phantom Hourglass, this is going to stand out right away to you. Again, we have no idea if this does anything in particular, of course, other than looking really cool, but still, it's a really neat nod to the Phantom Hourglass. I can't wait to get Link wearing this particular set of armor. So that's going to wrap up everything that we know about this DLC. We don't know an exact date that this is launching. We do know it's coming sometime this summer, but at least now we know what we're getting ourselves into. Now, the biggest DLC pack is going to be DLC Pack 2, and that's the one that's going to give us a brand new story to play, and I think a lot of us are really excited for that. But if you guys are looking to get the expansion pass now, you can pick it up on Amazon. It's $19.99, or you can head over to the eShop. I'll have a link in the description below if you guys want to pick this up, but honestly, it's really cool. I think for Zelda fans who have been just dying to get their hands on new content, this is probably the best bet for us right now until, obviously, later this year when we get DLC Pack 2. But that's going to wrap up this DLC pack for the time being. If you like this, if you guys are really excited about this, let us know in the comments below. Do you think this is worth the price of admission for the expansion pass? If you hate it, let us know too. We definitely want to hear all viewpoints on this one. But in the meantime, if you want to see all the other Nintendo news that happened today, find the link in the description below. It'll take you straight to our full written article, or head to NintendoWire.com where we have more Nintendo coverage than we could possibly just throw at you right now. If you're looking for other Nintendo content, you can find our other videos by clicking the annotations on the screen right now. And if you'd like to give us a subscription, we would love it. We have this kind of content daily, so we would love to bring it to you guys on a daily basis. So if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd really appreciate it.